IPA, hashtag She's IPA, and to PolicingTV. We are collaborating on highlighting women in policing and also police women in the International Police Association. An association for police officers and police staff could also be open to custom officers and prison officers around the world, depending on the country you live in. My name is May-Britt Ronaldo-Ronnebro. I'm a member of the International Police Association and belong to Section Sweden. I'm the former president of the section of Sweden. I have also served as chairperson of Professional Commission, and the last 4 years until last election, I was the Secretary General of the International Executive Board of IPA. I am happy to be one of 6 women that are bringing together the hashtag #SheIsIPA, and we invite interesting persons around the world to a series of 12 interviews during 2024. And the first interview, we are so happy to say welcome to Hiorth from Norway. She's been a serving police officer for quite many years, now retired, but still very active in connection to policing and also in connection to women's rights and so on. And she will tell you quite a lot of interesting things today. And interesting for us to bring Kim out as the first person to speak with is that she 2023 received the IPA World Class Policing Award for her work in policing and what she's been sharing for the rest of the world. Kim, you started as police officer 1990, and I understand that was in Oslo, in Norway. And can you just give us a little bit of background information about the Norwegian police and also maybe numbers of police officers or anything about the numbers of women in policing?
Thank you for having me here. Yes, I'll do that. Yeah, I started the police academy. It was a name at that time. Now it's the Norwegian Police University College. I had 2 small boys then, and I had to deliver them into the daycare before I went to school. Today, the school is a 3-year basic education and a 4th year with master degree. When I went, it wasn't quite like that, but it has improved. But I loved it when I started. We were only 12% of women in the police force when I started. Now, in 2023, it was 51% female students who applied for the police academy. So we are 50-50, which is very good though. We were 25 students in my class. We were 6 females, and people have asked me, didn't you feel like it was dominated with men? Yes, but that has never scared me because I knew that the world and Norway, half of the population are women, and so is it in the world. So I knew that the police needed women as much as men in the force, you know. So that just gave me extra energy. So when I started, I worked 3 shifts in the beginning, full-time, always full-time. And my husband, he, of course, did his part with the kids. And my parents and, grandparents in general are a valuable resource, you know, when you have small kids and you need help to get everything together for working shift and stuff like that. Yeah. So I just loved it, but it was like to start there, it was like been throwing into the lion's den. You know, I wasn't prepared for all the people, all the mystery, all the abuse, everything you met when you talked to people, when you came into people's houses and homes. So I started to write down these stories in a book that I had, you know, and now next week it's coming in a book in Norway called The Police Heart, and we are trying to get it translated into English. Yeah, that's so far what you asked for.
Yeah, we will speak more about your book, because that is one interesting thing about you, that you're still a living person, and now you're sharing your life with the audience. But if we return to the police work you did, I understand that you've been moving around between different divisions within the Oslo police, and I got an information about that you started the public order department, then moved to the division for organized crime, and finally the division for crime prevention. So how was it during those years, and why did you move between these particular areas? Because when the ordinary public will look at you, this sounds like it's a male police officer.
Yeah, to be the first 4 years when I worked in the public order division, that is very good, and it's like a good foundation to have, though, because then you drive and you are asked to go to all the things that just happens. So I mean, when you came to houses, you didn't know what was inside. One time we were downtown Oslo, and this guy, he was a security officer, and he said, we need you to come down to the toilet here, because that was at the train station in Oslo. Because he said, I hear that somebody is inside there, but nobody opens, and I need your help. So we went down there, and like I said, you aren't prepared for what is behind the doors you open. When we opened the door, there was this lady sitting on a toilet with a syringe in her arm, and she was dead, actually, from an overdose. And we rushed to her and felt if she had a pulse, that she didn't. And on the side, on the wall there, there was like this big jacket hanging there. And suddenly I saw something moving under the jacket, and I was like, what is that? Is it a rat? Is it a dog? And I lifted the jacket, and there was this little girl. She was about 3 years old, sitting there. She's been peeing in her pants, and this is her mom just taking an overdose. And I was lifting her up, and she was screaming, Mommy, Mommy, don't let the lady take me away from you. So that was just heartbreaking. And we took her to the children's department, the welfare. And after that, I was thinking, small kids should never grow up like that, and she's been having these kids. She was a prostitute and a drug addict, and she's been having this little girl with her for 3 years, So some stories I never forget, and I have that story in my book too. After working 4 years at the public order department, I wanted to work, applied for the organized crime. And then in the middle of 1990s in Norway and in Sweden as well, I think the Hells Angels, Bandidos and Outlaws and other criminal motorcycle gangs that tried to come and make their shelters there. And so we were working with them and trying to arrest them for all the criminal things they did, and that was tough working, actually. The guys, they didn't like ladies at all, and they didn't like me at all when I was driving on a Harley Davidson, because we could borrow one, and but after a while I got to know people there too, and some of these people, though, from all the divisions I've been working, I still follow and have contact with, because behind the tough vest they're wearing, and it's a person that is hurt, that has had a hard upbringing in orphanages, or had troubles at school, or come from home where there's been alcoholic and drugs for a long time. So after working there, then I detected that when we were arresting or searching houses to people with other minorities than Norwegian, I saw that a lot of the women in the apartments and the houses where we were, they stood there and they couldn't speak our language. And I was thinking, why aren't they speaking our language? They're losing out on everything. So I asked them, how long have you been living in Norway? One lady has been living here for like 10 years, 15 years. One lady had lived here for 38 years. And I was thinking, why is it like that? It's a waste, to learn the language is the key to success. Then you can get a job, you can follow up your kids at school, you can follow the news, and you are part of the society. So I was thinking, somebody has to do something with this. But often that somebody is yourself. I understood that after a while. So then I went down to the bosses on the crime prevention division, and I said, I want to work with the minority women in Oslo. And I want to go and knock on all the doors to the mosques and the NGOs and wherever they are. And he said, nobody has ever done that before. And I said, I know, so I want to start. So he said, well, I have to go into the leaders meeting and ask if that's possible. So he came back some weeks later and he said, you can do that, but you have to deliver like we did on organized crime with like kilograms with drugs and weapons and stolen goods. I was thinking, how do I deliver with people? But I tell you, I have helped them from hell to heaven, sort of, to speak though. So, but it was like a painstaking work to do that.
Kim, I think you have had quite an interesting time in policing, and there is so much that you would like to share with us. And we will listen more about this in the next part of this interview, because we are recording for the IPA, #She is IPA, and Policing TV. If you would like to read more about policing, you can also visit the Policing Insight website, where you can subscribe for free for certain articles, or you need to pay for those that are more in depth to read. But today we are speaking with Kim Hiorth, and she's been just sharing some of her background as police officer. Welcome.